Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So we have created this interface in the last class and we didn't really do much on this, and this one was where we were trying to test if the database is connected. So what we did was we tried to add a customer, and this is what we see. So let me try to bring this up here. Okay, so let's try to add a customer who already exists. A099649, name Naushad, 7992369. This is my phone number, of course. You can say add. So if you try to add, it should say the customer already exists. That's good, right? So and it cleans up. And edit. Does edit work? Let's try to find. So you try to click search, it brings to the person, and let's say this is a wrong name and you wanted to edit this, and you said edit, and then it should say customer updated, and again it should clean it up actually, but that's okay. So this is the example of add edit. And as for delete, let's see, for example, we try to click delete, we have not configured it, right? Okay, let's try to do that. So in the customer section, as I told you guys, you have this program where you created this UI, you dragged and dropped these items onto the panels, and as I told you guys, here there's a panel. Inside the panel you have separate components, and each item you have given a variable name, nice variable name, customer ID. See, change variable name, customer name, like that. Every box should have a nice name. Labels, no problem, you can give any name, no need to label. As for these buttons, also give good names and give effects. Let me show you here. For example, you see here this interface looks a little bit ugly, so we can make it a little bit better. So for example, hotel name and all these items, also their text is too small, so we can go to properties and we can make it bigger by increasing the font size, making it bold and 18. Immediately it's going to look better. See, it's going to be better. And this item is already in you can see little panel, so let's put it here. And this button panel will be much better if you put them in horizontal order. So let's bring them a little bit down here, like this. Okay, like this, and let's grab it down here, grab it, takes this, bring it down here, just drag it across this way and put the button this way. So you could search already an existing item, or you can add an item that doesn't exist. So let's make all of them the same size. Okay, a little bit bigger, yes. Or you can edit an item, a hotel that already exists, or you can clear the interface, or maybe clear as the last item, right? And then you can delete, for example, an item that okay, it has gone out. Why did it go out? So this kind of drag and drop is what you do in Java GUI programming. And then yeah, something like this. This is a little bit small, so slowly you can spend some time on making it look a little bit nice. You don't have to make it that nice, but you see, at least like this. And this one you can make it small, of course. See, something like this. So this is our panel for buttons. Okay, see, that's the hotel. And also you have to check if you can make this also this is the same size as this item. It'll be nice. Okay, now this one can be made a little bit smaller. Yeah, so that is the hotel. So this is the close button. Let's change it, close button. There also we can make it change the text. Sorry, go to properties, make it a little bit bigger. They look a little bit like this because you know, the font size, and make it bold. At least you can do like this. So hotel is simple because you are only adding hotel name, change variable, hotel name, and these are search button, add button. You should give button to the best. Edit button. Each item you can give button to the end. Delete button. Clear button. Right, so these are all buttons. Okay, and there you have the interface for the hotel. Simple, right? So this is the hotel. This is the customer UI you have created, which is a little bit bigger because it has more variables. And now when you are adding these items, you can see in the search button we are connecting to the database. So If you remember correctly, last class when we discussed through these things, we said if you click the add button, search button, you have to control everything through the controller. And we have similar architecture like other programming languages. We follow the MVC architecture. So we have customer controller, we have customer class, then we have customer UI. Three things. Customer UI is the view, customer controller is the controller, and customer is the model, right? So this is the model, customer.java. See here. Okay, so now we have customer.java, we have add, edit, delete, walk-in. We have these controller functions that's actually creating those things. So if you go to controller, you have these functions, and some of you have tried these things. I guess some of you have already done these things. So see, just like create, index, store, show, update, edit, these things are there, save to the database. We have done those things. Okay, editing also works. Let's make you delete work. So you have here in the delete button, go to delete button. Here you are in the delete button. What happens when you delete something? Again, you will do something to the controller, and then you will show a message box that this item has been deleted, and you will show a new interface. That's how you are going to do this. So you do the same thing here, customer controller, and just like the edit button, not the update button. So what we do is customer controller.update, we say instead of update we say delete or destroy. You could also call it destroy actually instead of it's also called destroy, because this makes more sense, those names, you know, because you are actually destroying the object itself from the database, you know. It's more consistent. If you have seen in Laravel also, we have this kind of architectures when we actually create the CRUD. So similar architecture, if you try to have implement the same idea, it will help you as well. Destroy function only needs customer ID. We just have to know customer ID. And what is customer ID? Customer ID is what you have inserted in the customer ID text box. So we can say this dot customer ID dot get text dot trim. We don't have to directly assign anything. We can directly send it here. This is the ID. You see? So you are sending the customer ID directly into the destroy method, and the destroy method gets that ID. And of course, if the customer doesn't exist, then you can't delete it, right? If it exists, then only it will delete. So you go into the customer controller, look for this destroy item. Just like the previous case, you can only update a customer that exists. You can only create a customer that exists. So let's use the same function we have created here. If the customer exists, you see here, customer exists. So what is the customer? We have to yeah. So does this customer? Oh, it's actually here. So does the customer exist? How do you know that? By giving the ID. So we're getting the ID here, and we say if customer exists. Okay, so you have to give this here. If customer exists, instead of this you say ID. Directly you can send ID, because now you have the ID here. If the customer exists, and then it's going to return true or false. What does it say? There is an error here. It says unreported exception again. So you are asking the customer to go into the database. So you have to implement try catch block before you can delete this. Okay, and then try catch, just have a normal exception, try catch exception E. And if you remember correctly, we use message boxes to display the error. So similarly, these things you can follow the same architecture. If there's an error, just display it. Now if the customer exists, then only we can delete it. You see, if it doesn't exist, we can't delete it. So if condition, else condition. If else, we will show another error message. Of course, this time the error message will be this customer doesn't exist. Show a message box and say customer doesn't exist. Customer does not exist. You can't delete someone who doesn't exist in the system, you know. So that is an example of showing an error. So destroy method, if the customer exists, delete it from the database. Just like save to the database, it's delete from the database. So in this case, you are inserting something. Saving means updating something. So let's create one more method here called delete from DB. See, delete from DB. So we will call the method delete from DB, and we'll call it just like this. See, save to the database. We'll create a method called delete from DB. What do you want to delete? You want to delete this customer with that ID, customer ID underscore ID. So call this method, and after you do that, you can just create a new customer interface. So how do you create a new customer interface? See here, create. Just call the create method. So after we delete the customer, we just show a new brand new UI that has nothing in it. Delete from DB, what happens there? So here you have here function, so we'll just create public static void. So why is it static? Because this class we are using directly without any object. We say database controller or customer controller dot, like that, without any item. So give it an ID. Okay, you can call it customer ID. I'll just say ID. Oh, let's follow this idea as the other function. Okay, so what does it do? It does nothing, it just deletes it. Okay, how do you delete it? Query, simple query, delete from database. So just like update, this is a delete statement. You follow this option, copy everything and paste it inside, and you're going to delete this customer. Delete from customer. Okay, where customer underscore ID. You see, this is the name of the primary key column in this case. Okay, so remember we are using customer ID here. In some programming languages you have to use the auto increment field as the primary key. In this case we have the control over the database a little bit. Primary key, everything is defined by us, and we are writing raw SQL queries here, so that's why we are using our own column names for primary key. Okay, so what is the customer ID here? This one is the customer ID, equal to this. Let me just add this plus here. It's a small SQL statement, it's not much. Paste, and then there is a semicolon at the end, and everything else related to this query has to go. Yes, okay, and then close it, another semicolon. So the first semicolon is part of the query. Delete from customer via customer ID equal to this, and then that's it. So we don't need to print it, we are just printing it for us to see, right? Those things are not necessary, because if you print it, you're going to see it in the output and it's not going to pop up in the graphical box. So we need to see a GUI. So you are sending this query, that's it, you see. So if it fails, of course there will be an error. Alright, so this is delete from the DB, and then customer data deleted if the customer data deleted. Right, let's run it and see. So we have added previously this customer A099649. Now of course you have to remember, it is for now you are deleting them. You can't delete a customer who has booking, for example. That's a different story, right? Okay, so delete, customer deleted. Let's search for him. A099649, search. See, customer doesn't exist. That's exactly what we want. So that's how we do, guys, clearing, editing, deleting of this. Now in your assignment you have a lot of work to do still, so I suggest that you make a customer class immediately. Work on these kind of examples. Try to work on search button, add button, of course first add, edit, search, delete, you know. So you do the same to the hotel. I have shown here an example. You do your own design, you do your own stuff and create SQL, and just like this you have a hotel controller, and inside the hotel controller you have to have all these things. You can actually copy the whole thing into the hotel controller and change everything there you are seeing hotel. Search and replace customer with hotel, then you will have a roughly similar structure as the previous program. Then only you have to change the customer table names. Even this will get replaced, right? So it will be very, very easy. Yeah, of course you have to remember these objects constructors will be different. So just follow up, try to create a hotel controller. So your tutorial for the class will be to make hotel UI work, add, edit, delete, search to work, and clear, of course, is a button. As I said, is a something you can put also here. Let's put a clear button. Why do you need a clear button? You need a clear button because sometimes you want to clear the interface. So I'll make a clear button here for you guys. So let me grab a clear button, a button. Yes, so this delete button has become a little bit smaller now, and I'll just move these things a little bit up over here. So remember, use always panels to organize your items, otherwise movement of one item may jeopardize your whole layout. So because you are drag and drop and you are having this absolute layout, so it doesn't really help you much on playing the component where you want. It will try to automatically change others to fit your component, so you have to remember that. So you see here, same as this one, what is the 24 board, so we give the same thing here. 24 bold, 24 bold, and call this as clear. Anytime you want to clear something, you can just clear button, btn or button, fine. Okay, what happens when you click this one? Click, there you have it. Okay, so what happens? You just want to clarify, clear your interface. So you could use a for loop and get all the text boxes, but easier way is just something like this. Yes, you can just set them. Clear button, you say okay, sorry, this dot customer dot name dot get text, so you say set text, okay, set text with nothing, empty. Of course string will not be there, you're just setting an empty string, and you have to give something. You can't keep it empty, because then it will not meet the basic requirement. There should be something here, that something is empty. Yeah, that is the function. So example, let's say you are trying to write something here, and then you say, oh no, this gibberish, clear, that's all. And then you can see here the button has a different layout already, so make sure those things as well. Here for example, we gave a background color, see, background color, so you can just copy and right click this one on properties, here paste it. Oh, why is the color different? No, it's okay now. Okay, even the close button, you have to make it the same. See, the color is different, sometimes it's different. Why is that? No, it's correct. Let me run it again. Yeah, it's okay. Okay, so I leave this up to you to try. Your work is to complete the hotel, and that is the idea of customer hotel UI. I just wanted to show you a little bit of the layout and ask you to work on the hotel, so that you will do what you have to do for the hotel. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to separately create a room setup, because in the case of room you have to give customer a drop down where they will select, they will do the existing rooms, give them a list of hotels to choose from, which hotel does this specific room belongs to, like that. There will be drop down setups, and also when you edit a room, it has to give a drop down again, where does this hotel belongs, that kind of things. So I'll make a separate video for the room and upload it, and for you guys you can try it, and we will work on the hotel for the class, and in the second session we will focus on the room. And once you are done with hotel UI and room, you still have to work on your other things, and add, edit, delete exists for events, add exists for activities, add, edit, delete exists also for schedule, right? No, events and schedules are the same thing. Events, okay, events and activities, because if you look at the assignment, you have all those things that you have to add, edit, delete. Okay guys, thank you very much for watching. That's it for this tutorial. Please come back with hotel add, edit, delete things, and if you get stuck, go to the customer UI setup and add, edit, delete setup screens videos, follow it and make it work. I'll make a separate video for room for you guys. Thank you very much.